What's good, YouTube? I thought I was gonna make this video just because I haven't made a video in a long time, and I've been getting a lot of emails and messages about my transformation video, which I just saw the other day got like 80,000 views, and I was like, what? Couldn't believe it. But yeah, this is just a short video covering like training and nutrition, just how I see it and how I think people should approach it, because I think the most part people who watch this video are all kind of beginners, because you won't really see an advanced or elite athlete searching on YouTube like what's the most optimal diet and approach to nutrition and approach to training. So I'm just gonna go about it like I think a beginner or a novice should go about it. Well, I'm gonna explain to you how I think they should go about it. And first off, with nutrition, you have to know what's your goal, your overall goal. Do you want to gain muscle? Do you want to lose fat? It's very difficult to do both of those things at the same time. For someone that's just starting, it's a bit easier. They will gain muscle while they still lose fat if they're overweight, or it's much easier in the beginning than it is after a certain period of time. So what I suggest you do is you find out what is your maintenance calories, the amount of energy you need to eat to maintain your weight. And you can either do this by a calculator on the internet. There are thousands of them, but I feel like that's not very accurate. A better way of doing it is just tracking your calorie intake for about 2 to 3 weeks and weighing every day and looking at what your weight does while eating that certain amount of calories. And if after 3 weeks you maintained your weight with a slight fluctuation of like point something up or point something down, I mean, it's not going to be perfect. Your water weight changes, all that stuff. Then you know you've been eating around maintenance. And if you've lost weight and you want to gain weight, then you know you have to actually eat a bit more. And if you've gained weight and you actually want to lose weight, then you know you have to actually eat a bit less. So that's how I gauge my nutrition. And as for macronutrients, I don't think people should just hold on. I don't think people should fuss about their macronutrient intake as much, because in the end it's just total calories in, total calories out. So if you're going to fuss about your macronutrients, it's just like extra stress, and it's not necessary in the beginning. You will gain weight and you will get bigger if you just eat more, and you will lose weight if you just eat less than your maintenance. And for losing weight, when it comes to sticking points, that's why in the beginning don't subtract like 1,000 calories from your maintenance thinking the more you subtract the more you're going to lose. It's true, you will lose a lot in the beginning, like it'll go quick, but just as quick as it shoots down, that's how quick it's going to stop, because your metabolism like adapts to that shit. So rather subtract a little bit of calories, like 200 calories from your maintenance, and track your weight. If it's going down by like say 0.7% of your body fat per week, then you're good. Like between 0.5 and 1%, because you can't say a pound or 2 pounds, because you get people that weigh 300 pounds and you get people that weigh 150 pounds. So if they're going to lose at the same rate, I mean, it's going to take way longer for the 300-pound guy. So you can just basically go per percentages. And when it comes to training to get bigger, actually training overall, like if you want to get bigger, if you want to get cut, it's not about training heavy to get big and training light with millions of reps to get cut. It's just about gaining strength in a like progressive manner, like not too fast. Don't try and add 10 kilograms to your bench every week. It might progress for beginners, it might progress that quick, but in about 3 months you're going to be stuck at a point and you're going to be like, what the hell, why can't I keep adding 10Ks? I mean, but if that was possible, I mean, people would be benching and squatting and deadlifting the world by now if they just keep on adding weight. So I would rather just suggest you try, if you pass that beginner stage where you can add 5Ks every session, just try and add 2.5 every session, and sometimes only add every second session. Add a little bit of weight to your movements. And as for what movements. Stick to multi-jointed movements: bench press, squat, deadlift. Stick to rep ranges. Actually, you can vary your rep ranges, like bench press on a Monday, and squats and deadlifts, and then your bench press is 4 sets of 8, squats is 5 sets of 5, deadlifts 3 sets of 1. It's like speed, like heavy speed work. Check your bar speed. And then the Wednesday you do those same 3 movements, but you swap the rep ranges around, where bench press goes from 4 times 8, it goes to 5 by 5, and where deadlift goes from 1.1 by 3, 3 by 1, it goes to 4 by 8. So if you do, damn, that's confusing. If you do squats, deadlifts, bench press on the Monday, and you do it again on the Wednesday, then you do 4 by 8, 5 by 5, 1 by 3. And then on the Wednesday, you switch the exercises around, but you keep the rep ranges the same in that slots, if you know what I mean. Like, if this is hypertrophy slot, and this was bench press, squats, deadlifts, and still the hypertrophy slots, but now it's deadlifts, squats, bench press. So all of the rep ranges will vary. So you can hit those lifts up to 3 times a week and still recover, because you are hitting you're hitting them in different ranges. It's different adaptations. Your muscle responds differently to those type of lifts. Your central nervous system recovers for certain lifts, and it's a good way to make progress in the beginning, because you can add weight frequently to the bar. So I think they call it daily undulating periodization, but I just see it as you get in the gym more frequently, you do the important lifts more frequently, and you add weight more frequently, which is the key to growth and retaining muscle while you cut. And when it comes to, you know, the amount of lifts you do, you can stick to the basics: bench, squat, deadlift. You can grow from that in the beginning. You don't need much more than that. But I know it tends to get a bit boring if you just do these big lifts all the time. You don't get an arm pump, or you don't get a chest pump, and you don't feel like you're training. So just don't go overboard with the extra volume. Do your main lifts and have accessories. Like, if you feel like you want to grow your arms, then do on a Monday, do an extra set of bicep and triceps, or 2 sets, and just don't kill it. Don't let it take away from your main lifts, because that's your biggest goal, is to get your main lifts stronger. Because when you do a deadlift, you don't just work your legs or your back. You work basically every single muscle, because even your shoulders work. Otherwise, if you deadlift and you go up, your arms would rip out of the socket if these muscles didn't hold it back. So you're basically working the muscles indirectly. And as you get stronger in those lifts, you get bigger overall. And if you do too much accessories, you're gonna take away from your speed that you're gonna get stronger on those lifts. So if you want to do accessories, go ahead and add about 1 to 2 accessories. It's body part of choice. Keep it in the 10 to 12 rep range, or 8 to 12. Choose a hypertrophy range. Pump out 3 or 4 sets. Push it close to failure. Don't go overboard with the intensity or the rate of perceived exertion, which is how hard you are going in that set. Like, am I busy killing myself now, or am I just, going and stopping before actual bad form, and like where the muscles you want to do the work isn't doing the work anymore? So you're basically pulling the weight and you start jerking it, and it's not targeting the body part that you actually wanted to target. So that's another tip. And next is sleep every night, at least 8 hours. Well, it doesn't at least 8 hours, you can get between 7 and 9, but I notice the more I sleep, the better my gym sessions are the next day. And there's studies that prove that if you sleep badly the night before, your gym session isn't actually physically worse the next day. It's more of a mental thing. Like, it takes more mental power for you to go through that gym session the next day if you don't get adequate sleep. And if you do get adequate sleep, it's much easier to self-motivate yourself, and you don't have to dose yourself in caffeine and crash afterwards. So that's another tip, is just to keep your sleep schedule intact, and don't go sleep at 1 at, like tonight you go sleep 1 o'clock, wake up at 7, and the next night you go sleep at 8 and wake up at 6, and don't vary your sleep very much. Just keep it at the same level. And as for water, you got to drink at least 2 liters of water, depending on your body weight. Some people overdo it. They drink too much water. Everything has a toxic dose, and more isn't always better. So just stick to a moderate amount of water. 2 liters is fine. You can deal fine with that, but just make sure that your urine isn't like yellow or too yellow, and that sometimes you get some clear urines, and just gauge that stuff. And yeah, protein intake is quite important. When you got your base, like the calorie amount that you eat, your protein should be about 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. So when you're cutting, get it on the high end, times your body weight in pounds by 1.5 when you're cutting, and when you're bulking, bring it down a bit, because your overall calories are more. Your body has enough energy to not search in different places, like start eating your muscle for energy. So just you can go to the lower end of protein, so you can eat a little bit more of those good yummy carbs and fat. So yeah, this was just a quick, boring, shirtless, egotistical video of the simple way of your nutrition training. Like in the beginning, this is for very beginner stages, and if there are more how can I say, advanced people that have stepped over that beginner phase, if you are out there and watching this, then let me know, and I'll get a bit more into detail about training percentages and the fuzzy stuff about numbers and auto regulation, RPE, like when progress really starts to slow down, and when you really need to break through a plateau or bring up a lagging body part. But for the beginners, don't worry about that. If you haven't been training at least 2 years, I'd say don't worry about overthinking the small things in your training. Eat enough to grow, make progress with your weights, even if it's just a rep extra per set, a set extra, or a little bit more weight. Just keep increasing your workload slowly at a time, and when it starts going backwards and there's nothing you can do to like keep it up, take a deload week where you just chill out and don't hit the weights too hard. And then I take this about every 6 week, where I just chill out. So I would suggest every 6 week or so, just chill out, don't kill the weight. You can go get a pump session, don't go to failure, just use half your weight, focus on perfecting your form in every lift. And I would suggest reading the book Starting Strength, because that has like the form for the squats, deadlifts and bench press. It shows the setup and all that. But yeah, thanks for watching this, and just like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys want to see, and I'm about to just break this blind. Cheers.